All right, so a couple weeks ago, I made a video about whether you are ready for weighing and measuring, whether you are ready to follow the IIFYM protocol, which is basically having a set amount of calories for a day or maybe different days of the week, and then having a specific amount of protein, carbs, and fats allotted for within those calories. And a lot of people aren't ready for that kind of thing. Yes, it may work if they were able to implement that, but most people don't go from not cooking a day in their life to eating out all the time, drinking a lot, eating a lot of sugary, desserts and sweets like that, to all of a sudden living off of Tupperware, having 6 square meals a day. It's too extreme. So I kind of wanted to go in more depth to help you figure out where you currently are and where you want to go, and what are the steps you need to progressively, keep getting leaner. Because the first, 10 pounds, losing the first 10 pounds or 10 pounds of body fat, those protocols and those habits will be different than what is required to lose the last 10. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, and they don't understand, hey, I've been doing this method for a while, I've been seeing great progress, and I hit a plateau. Well, that's because at that stage, you're going to require some additional habits to either break or implement. You're going to require some more energy. It's going to require some more sacrifices to be made. So we'll start with being around, we'll say above 20% body fat for men and above 30% body fat for women. This would be considered very overweight, and this is a very unhealthy amount of body fat to be carrying. It predisposes you to a lot of gnarly diseases. You want to make your health a priority at this point. So what are simple things that you can do to implement into your routine to start seeing some results and to start mastering some skills and some habits to get you onto the track of being lean? You can start by not eliminating, but reducing the amount of fast foods, reducing the amount of time and the meals that you go out to a restaurant or through the drive-thru. Again, not eliminating altogether, because that may be too extreme of a jump. You may feel too deprived and default to your old ways. So if you go out for, let's say, 7 meals a week, try cutting it down to 4 meals a week. Try that for 2 or 3 weeks, and then slowly start eliminating, more and more. You can also focus on drinking less sugary drinks or sodas or fruit juices or alcohol. Again, eliminating a little bit, focusing on slowly taking away some of those bad habits and replacing them with better choices is exactly where you need to start. Don't focus on completely eliminating any one category of food or completely, depriving yourself of, let's say you have a sugar addiction. Don't think about cutting yourself off completely at this stage yet, because more than likely it'll be too extreme and you will end up quitting. So slowly mastering the things will yield a lot of results for a little while. And this is where the mantra of eat less, move more can be applicable. I don't like that for everyone, because I believe it oversimplifies things a lot of times for people, again, depending on where they are. But if you are very deconditioned, overweight, or you haven't been exercising for a while, you have a lot of weight to lose, simply eating less and moving more could be very beneficial, and could start to build that confidence, and you start to develop habits that you can master to where then you can take it up a notch. And it won't be so extreme and stressful. So moving more, that could be as simple as going on walks. Honestly, going on walks is very beneficial. Walking for 20, 30, an hour at a time would be awesome, 3 to 5 days a week. Start small, put on your headphones, come up with a playlist, get a book, a podcast or Audible books. Those are great. Learn something, be entertained, walk out for 15 minutes, walk back, walk out for 30 minutes and walk back. Moving a little more. Increased activity at that level will be a big plus. Okay, so now let's say you've done that for a while, you've seen some results, you've mastered that, it's no big deal, it's just part of your regimen. Now it's time to take it up a notch. So this is for men who are wanting to go from like 18% to 14%, and women who are wanting to go from 27% to 24%. Now, you want to see more changes, it requires bigger changes in your habits. So instead of simply eating a little less and moving a little more, now I would say, okay, let's be more mindful of eliminating some processed carbohydrates, right? Substituting processed carbs, things that are in boxes and bags and cans, for things that are closer to nature. So instead of doing French fries, maybe you bake your own sweet potatoes, or you bake your own red potatoes in the oven. Instead of doing chips and crackers, maybe you focus on eating some more fruit and vegetables. Slowly focusing on food quality. So replacing the kind of carbs that you eat with better choices. Replacing your proteins and your fats with better choices. Not necessarily working on those portions or working on managing the calories or the amount of those foods. I just want you to work on replacing them with better quality. So that's a big step up. Now you're more aware of what you're eating, not so much focused on taking stuff away, but now you're saying, okay, I've taken away some of the bad stuff. Now, what am I still eating? Can I improve upon those qualities? Yes, you can. Moving more is great. You've mastered walking for a little while, maybe some yoga. Now, I would say it's time to add some resistance training. And it doesn't have to be extreme. You don't have to be in the gym for 2 hours a day, every day. You can get a great resistance training regimen done in 30 to 45 minutes, 3 times a week. It doesn't take much. Dumbbells go a long way, kettlebells, barbells. Hire a trainer, hire a coach, hire someone who is very beginner friendly, who can work with someone who's never, had any experience working out or exercising on their own, who's very deconditioned, who can slowly progress you. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone to help you. So that's for that category. So once you've mastered that, you're eating better quality foods. Now let's take it up a notch, and you will continue to lose body fat and see progress and change in your body, but then you will hit a plateau again. That won't work for very much longer once you start to get to another level of lean. So now we're going from now we're going from, trying to get under 12% body fat for men, or getting underneath, I would say 22%, 22%, getting below that for women. That would be to where most people want to be. And for a lot of people, it's that last 10 pounds. Okay, so this is where that casually just watching what you're eating, being a little mindful, doesn't work as well as it used to. So if you're wanting to lose that 10 pounds or that last 10 pounds, it's going to take some more changes. So now we need to be more aware of your portions. So you've improved your quality of foods, right? You're not eating as many processed carbohydrates. You're having better protein sources. You're eating healthier fats now. Now we need to be more mindful of the portions of those foods, which is another way to say calorie control. And that's essentially managing your macronutrients too. And this can all be done by the palm method. You don't have to go and buy a food scale. You don't have to necessarily get out the measuring cups and the tablespoons and so forth. If you want to, that's fine. If you're a person that works well and that doesn't get overwhelmed by that method, great. But for most people, using the palm method is totally fine. And I will write that down underneath the video in more detail about what the palm method is and how both men and women should use it. So the palm method is a great way to step it up in the diet category and to focus on managing your calories and your macronutrients. So most people do really well there. They find all the leanness that they're looking for. They are able to maintain good lean body mass. They're able to see some muscle definition. They're confident in themselves going out to the beach. It's really what people want to attain. Just being generally fit, healthy, lean, functional, feeling good about themselves. Their energy levels are steady throughout the day. They're sleeping well. But if you're interested in taking it up a notch even farther, meaning getting to 6, 7, 8% body fat for men, or 16, 17, even 18% or below for women, you have to take it up another step. Okay, you have to increase your activity level. Now you're gonna have to work out harder. You're gonna have to do harder conditioning sessions. You're gonna have to do more strength training, more resistance training more often. I would say 5, 6 times a week would be best. And as far as the food, now may be the time where you bust out the measuring cups and the food scale, because you're going to need to be even more tedious about calories, about your macronutrients. And this is where IFYM comes into play and works really well for people if they've taken the time to build those habits as they progress through their weight loss. If you jump straight to this, it may not work for you. It may, you know, some people do have success. You see those, you know, testimonials on people's websites about, oh, my client went from, you know, 50 pounds overweight to being shredded, and all she did was just follow my cookie cutter, you know, macro calculator. Like, okay, well, that's great, and that person was extremely disciplined, and that's badass they did that. But for most people, it's too big of a jump, it's too extreme, it doesn't last, they'll fall off in 2 weeks because it's just too stressful. So just like your body will progressively change, so will the methods that you implement to keep seeing those changes. So yeah, I'll type more in the about section underneath the video about the POM method, and I'll make a reference to different levels of lean and just get a little more in detail about what the sacrifices that are required to see those different levels. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Hope you enjoyed this. And feel free to message me or comment if you have any other topics that you'd like me to address or talk about, or any questions I can answer for you. See ya.